Um, so welcome to our Disability Mayo Employee Resource Group, or MERGE, and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion Quarterly General Membership Event. Also, we want to welcome those that are joining us via the live webcast on Video Exchange. Thank you for logging in. If you're joining us via the web, we ask that you send a note to our email address to let us know you are watching. Later on in the event, you can also submit questions to the same email address. My name is Val Halling, and I'm currently the Secretary of the Disability Merge. So before we get started with our event, I'd like to share some background information about our Merge. The mission of the Disability Merge is aligned well with Mayo Clinic values, and the primary purpose is to improve the work environment and the patient experience for people with disabilities. We welcome employees from all backgrounds to join us and work towards positive change in the lives of employees with disabilities, families, and patients with visible and invisible disabilities. The emphasis on our name, capitalizing ability, is intentional. We support people of all abilities should experience full inclusion in all aspects of life. If you're interested in learning more, we encourage you to go to our website, connect with us. There are places on the screen that you could find us. So now let's shift our focus to the reason for our event today. As the Disability Merge, we thought this event would be a great opportunity to advance the Office of Diversity and Inclusion's mission along with our own by providing education and awareness to the many issues faced by individuals and families with who have been affected by vision impairment, including blindness. As we move forward, I encourage you to approach what you hear today with a sense of curiosity and a learning mindset. This is a safe environment, and we want everyone to feel comfortable asking questions later in the program. And Megan is waiting for those questions, right, Megan?
That's right.
Okay.
Everyone ask some questions later.
Okay. So you're all okay with that if you have questions that you want to ask. As with anything we say, there are no bad questions. We recognize we are all at different points in our life and in our journey to understanding the issues many people face. Megan, our speaker today, is my niece, and I've had the opportunity to watch her grow into this beautiful person and teenager. Megan has always had a special place in my heart as well as many others, and I think you'll find that place in your heart after this hour. What she has to say is engaging, is inspiring, so we wanted you to feel and be able to be part of that special place. The eagle gently coaxed her offspring toward the edge of the nest. Her heart quivered with conflicting emotions as she felt their resistance to her persisting nudging. Why does the thrill of soaring have to begin with a fear of falling, she thought. The ageless question was still unanswered for her. As in the tradition of the species, her nest was located high on the shelf of a sheer rock face. Below, there was nothing but air to support the wings of each child. Is it possible that this time it will not work, she thought. Despite her fears, the eagle knew it was time. Her parental mission was all but complete. There remained one final task, the push. The eagle drew courage from an innate wisdom. Until her children discovered their wings, there was not purpose for their lives. Until they learned how to soar, they would fail to understand the privilege it was to have been born an eagle. The push was the greatest gift she had to offer. It was her supreme act of love, and so one by one, she pushed them, and they flew. As a parent myself of a child with a disability, I think the hardest thing to do is to let go and give your child that push to find their own way in life. It's been clear to me that Jen and Ryan, Megan's mom and dad, have been doing that to Megan since the day she was born and have allowed her to fly to the life she's at today. So I hope as you hear Megan's story, you will continue on your own journey of understanding, acceptance, and inclusion. This is, and we hope, this is intended to be an informal and informative event, and we hope you will be engaged in conversation in a new and different way. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Megan Copeland to share her story with you today. Help me in welcoming Megan.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to my speech today. The topic of my speech is looking beyond limitations. I will be entering 9th grade at the Owatonna High School. I attend all regular classes and plan to participate in the speech team and mock trial in high school. My parents are Ryan and Jennifer Copeland. I have a younger brother who is in 5th grade, and his name is Spencer. I thoroughly enjoy reading and writing. I also really enjoy swinging and swimming. I am involved in wildlife and Girl Scouts. And a fun little fact, I sold over 1,000 boxes of Girl Scout cookies this year. My family has also been involved with starting up a horse riding program for kids with special needs. I love riding horses. I hope to provide some insight and inspiration so you can start to look beyond limitations. To help you better understand me, I want to bring us back to the first 16 days of my life. I was born at 3:04 p.m. on Wednesday, March 12th in the Owatonna Hospital. I weighed 7 pounds, 1 ounce. And outside being born 3 weeks early, I appeared to be a healthy baby. My parents soon found out that was not the case. My parents were all ready to take me home on Friday. However, plans changed in the early hours of that morning. My mom was woken by a nurse around 5 o'clock in the morning and told that they were a little concerned and were going to run some tests on me, but that she shouldn't be worried and to go back to sleep. Well, she didn't think that was a good idea and called my dad. Once my dad arrived, they were both in the nursery with me. In a flash, about a dozen doctors and nursing staff came flying into the room. Apparently, one of the tests they ran was for my blood sugar. If anyone knows anything about blood sugar, if your level is below 60, it is critical. My level was 1. Yes, you didn't misunderstand me, it was 1. They airlifted me to Rochester. The doctors at Rochester Mayo told my parents that they never had a patient with blood sugar that low. They determined I was having seizures that evening, in part because I was hypoglycemic. They ran constant EEG with video monitoring to watch my seizures. They monitored my blood sugars and vitals every 2 to 4 hours. They ran countless tests, from most common to least common. After 10 days of testing, they finally determined what was causing the issues. Ultimately, they had to run a 45-minute brain MRI. This confirmed my condition. We had to stay at Mayo for a few more days so my parents could learn how to administer all of my medication and to stabilize my health. I was born with septo-optic dysplasia. They are not sure what causes this condition. However, they don't believe it is genetic. Recent studies indicate that it happens in 1 in 10,000 births. Because of this condition, I am blind. Many people ask me what I can see. I can only see darkness. I don't mind when people ask me questions. I would rather people ask questions instead of just wondering or making assumptions. I also take a number of medications every day. Septo-optic dysplasia, or otherwise called SOD, is a disorder of early brain development. Although its signs and symptoms vary, this condition is traditionally defined by 3 characteristic features: underdevelopment or hypoplasia of the optic nerves, abnormal formation of structures along the midline of the brain, and pituitary hypoplasia. The first major feature, optic nerve hypoplasia, is the underdevelopment of the optic nerves, which sends visual information from the eyes to the brain. In affected individuals, the optic nerves are abnormally small and make fewer connections than usual between the eyes and the brain. As a result, people with optic nerve hypoplasia have impaired vision in one or both eyes. Optic nerve hypoplasia can also be associated with unusual side-to-side eye movements called nystagmus and other eye abnormalities. I have seen Dr. Moni, a pediatric ophthalmologist, here a few times regarding my vision. When I left Mayo Clinic when I was 16 days old, my parents were told I would have some form of blindness. The best case scenario is tunnel vision. Worst case scenario was complete blindness. As mentioned before, I have complete blindness. I don't even have light perception. I also do have nystagmus. My parents were not completely sure of my level of vision until I was around 3 or 4, when they could trust my responses to questions of what I could see. The second characteristic feature of septo-optic dysplasia is the abnormal development of structures separating the right and left halves of the brain. These structures include the corpus callosum, which is a band of tissue that connects the two halves of the brain, and the septum pellucidum, which separates the fluid-filled spaces called ventricles in the brain. In the early stages of brain development, these structures may form abnormally or fail to develop at all. Depending on which structures are affected, abnormal brain development can lead to intellectual disability and other neurological problems. Since birth, I have been seeing Dr. Mack, a pediatric neurologist here at Mayo Clinic. I do not have the septum pellucidum, and the corpus callosum is thinner than it should be. They are really not sure what the septum pellucidum really does, so there is no apparent impact from that. The impact of the corpus callosum could be an attributing factor to my difficulty in traveling and spatial relationships and coordination. For instance, it took me a while to learn how to fully sweep my cane past the center part of my body. Crossing the midline as a result of the issues with the corpus callosum. Again, when my parents were sent home, they were told I might have developmental delays and that they would just have to wait and see how I progressed. Would I roll over, sit up, crawl, and walk at the age-appropriate times? They would just have to wait and see. This unknown was very hard for my parents to hear. They were told that people with this condition ranged from severely mentally delayed to subgenius. Well, to let you know, I rolled over at 4 months. I sat up at 6 months. I never did crawl. But tell me, if you can't see, do you want your head to go first so it can bang into something? See, I was smart, even at a young age. I walked around 20 months. Apparently this is very average for blind children. The way I learned to walk was by pushing a small plastic grocery cart that my parents weighed down with a 12-pack of soda. This allowed me to travel safely and bang the cart instead of myself, and it allowed me to steady and support myself. A third major feature of this condition is pituitary hypoplasia. The pituitary is a gland at the base of the brain that produces several hormones. These hormones help control growth, reproduction, and other critical body functions. Underdevelopment of the pituitary can lead to a shortage or deficiency of many essential hormones. Most commonly, pituitary hypoplasia causes growth hormone deficiency, which results in slow growth and unusually short stature. Severe cases cause panhypopituitarism, a condition in which the pituitary produces no hormones. Panhypopituitarism is associated with slow growth, low blood sugar or hypoglycemia, and problems with sexual development. I have panhypopituitarism, so I have to take medications for all of my hormones. Since birth, I have seen Dr. Latif, a pediatric endocrinologist here at Mayo Clinic. This includes a shot every morning for my growth hormone, cortisol, which is produced by your adrenal gland, synthroid, which is produced by your thyroid, and estrogen for puberty. I also take a natural vitamin called melatonin. Your body releases melatonin when it goes from light to dark, triggering sleep. Since I don't have light perception, my body does not release the melatonin. All in all, I get 1 shot per day, take 6 pills in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 6 pills in the evening. The signs and symptoms of SOD can vary significantly. Some researchers suggest that septo-optic dysplasia should actually be considered a group of related conditions rather than a single disorder. About 1/3 of people diagnosed with SOD have all 3 major features. Most affected individuals have 2 of the major features. In rare cases, SOD is associated with additional signs and symptoms, including recurrent seizures or epilepsy, delayed developments, and abnormal movements. I also have had seizures. After I turned 1, I started having seizures. Once they were diagnosed, it took 1 year to find the right medication that made them stop. I continue to take the medication, however, I haven't had a seizure since 2005. My doctor said, though, that kids with SOD who have had seizures and go off medication have an 80% chance of having seizures again. Not good odds. Now that you have a better understanding of me, I'd like to share some information about the technology I use. I use many different devices for assistive technology. Prior to being introduced to technology, I used many different tactile devices for learning. For example, when I was learning Braille, my teacher used a 6-cup muffin tin and tennis balls to teach me the Braille cells. Dots 1 through 3 are on the left, dots 4 through 6 are on the right. One tennis ball on the top left was dot 1. This was the letter A. Braille is a combination of dots that make letters. There are 6 dots in a Braille cell. Uncontracted Braille, or otherwise called Grade 1 Braille, is just the alphabet and punctuation. It took me until the middle of 1st grade to learn the alphabet. It typically takes Braille readers longer than sighted readers to learn to read. This is due to the fact that we do not have the benefit of exposure to words. Sighted kids see words every day. For example, they see words on billboards, words on menus at restaurants, words on food boxes, etc. Braille gets to be very long, so they shorten it with contractions. For example, there's a symbol for ing, en, ought, etc. Did you know that there are over 400 contractions of Braille? The goal for Braille readers is to master contracted Braille by the end of 2nd grade. Hence, it is called Grade 2 Braille. I mastered Grade 2 Braille by the end of 2nd grade. I also read at the speed of sighted readers, which is a great skill since I love reading. I have used many tactile devices such as clocks, rulers, maps, charts, and graphs, pictures, etc. I also have a lot of Braille games, including Monopoly, Shut the Box, playing cards, and tactile dice. I love playing games with dice. I have a Perkins Brailler that I use for writing only. It is kind of like a typewriter. It has 6 keys, and you use combinations of these keys to make letters. You feed in the paper, and you can only Braille on one side of the paper. The Perkins Brailler certainly serves its purpose, but as you will see, it is not very mobile, and at school we call it the dinosaur. Let's take a moment and watch a short video of me typing on the Perkins Brailler. Apple products are some of the best products for assistive technology. Every Apple device has a voiceover feature that allows the device to connect via Bluetooth to my Braille devices to allow me to read and write. This includes everything from texting, internet searching, note-taking, and reading. The Siri feature also comes in handy. For example, I use that to set my alarm, use a timer, send text messages, and check the weather. I also have a Refresher Braille 18. I can use this for reading and writing. I can also explore the internet with this. You will see that the Refresher Braille is small and portable. I take this and my iPad with me everywhere I go. I should mention, this little device costs $1,500. I have 2 short video clips to show you the Refresher Braille. The first one is me reading with it. You will see that I have a book loaded on my iPad and I am reading it with my Refresher Braille. The second video shows me typing on the Refresher Braille into my iPad. As more goblets were emptied, the noise level gradually rose. This had a cumulative effect. The more difficult it became to hear one's neighbor, the louder people talked, which made it increasingly difficult to hear what was being said and necessitated a further rise in personal volume. Wagers were being laid as to whether the king's first child would be a girl or boy. Either one would inherit, as Arluin had no restrictions on female children being heirs to the throne. As more goblets were emptied, the noise level gradually rose. This had a cumulative effect. The more difficult it became to hear one's neighbor, Most recently, I have acquired a Braille Edge. It is like the Refresher Braille 18, however, it has 40 cells versus 18. This allows me to read faster. There is another benefit to the Braille Edge. It can hook up to a computer as well as a phone or iPad. I am still learning all the features of this new device. Since this device is much larger than my Refresher Braille, it shouldn't come as a surprise, but it costs $6,000. Next, you will see a short video of me reading with my Braille Edge. Thomas stopped along with the others, tried to slow his breathing and listen. He heard it immediately, a low moaning sound, something that made Thomas shiver. It was coming from a few yards ahead of them, through a rare window in the hallway that looked into a large room. From where Thomas stood, the room seemed completely dark. The glass from the window had been shattered from the inside. Shards littered the tiled floor below it. I also have a computer with a screen reader called JAWS. I am still learning how to use this program. I am also learning the QWERTY keyboard. The goal is to become familiar so I can use a laptop easily in the future. In addition, I have a Victor Reader. This device allows me to listen to books and record things at length, such as lectures. I use all of this technology because Braille books are very heavy and take up a ton of space. Let me show you now. The book you will see is only one of the 3 volumes of the series Hunger Games. As you can tell, these books are very large and cumbersome. In addition, I read a book per week, and my closet, bookshelves, and storage in the basement was overflowing. The new electronic devices allow me to have great access to books. One of the apps that I have access to has over 250,000 books to choose from. Let's watch the video now. When I wake up, the other side of the bed is cold. My fingers stretch out, seeking Prim's warmth, but finding only the rough canvas cover of the mattress. She must have had bad dreams and climbed in with our mother. Of course she did. This is the day of the reaping. I prop myself up on one elbow. There's enough light in the bedroom to see them. My little sister Prim, curled up on her side, cocooned in my mother's body, their cheeks pressed together. Since turning 14, I had the opportunity to work with State Services of the Blind. So I have a technology tutor, his name is Steve, that works with me once per week. This will help me through high school and be prepared for college. If you ever have the opportunity to hire or work with a person with visual impairments, please know that technology and other assistive devices are available. And here is an opportunity for you to look beyond limitations. I have had many experiences when people meet me for the first time and they are unsure what to do, what to say, and how to act. Let me provide you with some insight. When speaking with a person who is blind or has low vision, be yourself and act naturally. You should also consider the following tips. Identify yourself. Don't assume the person will recognize you by your voice. I recognize hundreds of voices, but it is hard to quickly identify someone just by their voice. So, even if you know someone pretty well, it is considerate just to say who you are right away. Speak naturally and clearly. Loss of eyesight does not mean loss of hearing. Continue to use body language. This will affect the tone of your voice. Use everyday language. Don't avoid words like see or look. We're talking about everyday activities such as watching TV or videos. State the name of the person you are talking to when you are in a group situation. In group situations, introduce the appropriate people. Don't leave a conversation with a person who is blind without saying so. Use accurate and specific language when giving directions. For example, the door is on your left, rather than the door is over there. Don't channel the conversation through a third person. Try to avoid situations where there is competing noise. Always ask first to check if help is needed. Relax and be yourself. I also found some tips specifically for healthcare professionals. Introduce yourself and address the patient by name so they know you are talking to them and not to another person. Introduce the patient to any roommates. Ask the patient what they are able to see. Few patients are totally blind. Ask the patient what assistance they need instead of assuming what they need. Ensure that the patient is included in discussions about procedures and medical plans. Being blind or vision impaired does not mean they cannot hear or understand what is being said. Say goodbye when you finish a conversation and indicate when you are leaving the room. Orient the patient to their room by starting from a central point such as their bed. When orienting the patient to a new area, walk with them rather than giving only verbal directions. This helps them learn distances and pick up sensory cues, so next time they can make the trip independently. Keep pathways and corridors clear of obstacles where possible and inform the patient of any changes to their environment. Ask the patient if they would like to take your arm for guiding purposes. If so, let them hold your arm above your elbow. Now that you have learned a lot about me and my condition, I would like to share my passion about attitude and acceptance. There are three main topics to understanding differences that I would like to talk about today. Accepting others, accepting yourself, and having a positive attitude every day. Accepting others. It is important to accept that we are all different one way or another. Accepting and understanding differences will benefit everyone. One step in accepting differences is being inclusive. If someone asks if they can sit with you, I would invite them over and make them feel included. People are always welcome to talk to me because I like to be there for everyone. One benefit that I have is that I can't judge people by how they look, what they wear, if they wear name brand clothes, if their hair is just right. I can only judge people by their true character and personality. Are they nice to me? Are they nice to others? The only way that you can learn about someone's personality is by taking time to get to know them and understand them. Let me share how my friends show acceptance to me. My friends hang out with me and are willing to help me with things. My friends understand that I am different because I can't see. I read Braille, not print. I use a brailler, not a pencil. I read with my fingers, not my eyes. I use a cane to help me get around. My friends understand that I am different, but they don't treat me like I am different. Understanding differences can make new friends. Next time you go to a function or event, I encourage you to meet someone new and sit with them. Get to know them a bit. Who knows, you may make a new friend. Accepting others for who they really are will result in more peace. I'd like to read my essay I wrote last year for the Lions Club International Essay Contest that I have read at a number of different events, and I'd like to share that with you now. I need some water. Okay. Share peace. People might have many perspectives of sharing peace. When you use these 5 components of peace, it will be easy to create and share peace. B equals people make a difference. E equals engage others. A equals accept differences. C equals comfort others. E equals experience the gift of peace. Let me share my perspective with you. People make a difference, which means you can make a difference. You can help other people out, like doing community service projects. You can be a good friend to everyone at school. If someone is struggling with their homework, it is nice to help them. It is people working together that create peace. Engage others. You can talk to others about your ideas about sharing peace, and then they can talk to their friends. The more people talk about it, the more people will start displaying and understanding peace. Remember, it will take time to get people involved, but everyone will benefit from talking about their ideas. The more we engage others, the more peace we will have. Accept differences. Being kind to everyone is very important to me, and I hope it is important to you too. It is always nice to give people compliments. When you make someone feel good about themselves, it will make you feel good too. No two people are the same. Don't treat people unkindly because they are different from you. If you are a true friend, it means that you are a person who shows kindness to everyone. It is good to include others when they are feeling left out. True friends don't judge others by how they look, only by their true character. Accepting differences will create more peace. Comfort others. Comforting others shows that you love and strongly care about them. One of my friends died at a young age, so I comforted his family by talking to them and trying to make them feel better. I was sad as well, so my family showed me comfort. They talked to me, cuddled with me, and occasionally took me to the cemetery to see him. Comforting others makes everyone feel better. Experience the gift of peace. Once you know how to use these 5 components, you will have the gift of peace and can share it with others. Communicate your ideas so more people have a better understanding of peace. Let's all try to make a difference and share peace with people around us every day. I have won the Lions Club International Essay Contest for the district and multi-district competitions for the past 3 years. I take pride in my writing abilities, and writing is one of my future dreams. That brings me to my next topic, accepting yourself. We all have our own gifts and talents. Some of my talents include reading and writing. I also really enjoy speaking in front of others. I hope to be an author or possibly an inspirational speaker someday. We are not perfect at everything, but things wouldn't be fun if we were all perfect. I can't see, but I have a lot of other talents, and since I've accepted this, I have a really happy life. Accepting yourself is a big step in accepting others. It also impacts your perspective on life because if you have problems accepting yourself, you'll end up pretty unhappy and you won't look at anything with a positive attitude. Following your instincts and doing what you know is right will also help you accept yourself and who you are. Every day I am faced with challenges. Another opportunity for State Services of the Blind is working with an independence counselor. Her name is Jan. This program helps me overcome some of my obstacles. She works with me on everything from cooking, doing laundry, making my bed, etc. I came across a poem that inspires me to face challenges. I'd like to share that poem with you now, called If by Malcolm O. Barner. If I can keep my eyes focused on what's ahead and allow what's behind me to simply be dead, then I will make it. If I can keep a firm grip on the present elements in my hand and wisely position my feet so that I always stand, then I will make it. If I can accept that rocky ground and steep climbs are necessary obstacles to be conquered with patience and time, then I will make it. If I can muster my strength to keep pressing on, especially in times when it seems I'm being baked by the sun, then I will make it. If I can learn to crucify my pride by praying for strength and allowing my friends to stand by my side, then I will make it. If I can fully embrace the good that's inside, relinquishing fear, doubt, and shame so it can shine, then I will make it. This poem really resonated with me. It reminds me to focus on what's ahead, and it reminds me that I can overcome any obstacle. It also talks about having friends that you can rely on to help you get through any situation. It is a reminder to take things step by step and a day at a time. Have a positive attitude every day. You get to wake up every morning and decide your mood and how you are going to approach your day. My favorite quote is, "The happiest people don't have the best of everything, they make the best of everything." My family refers to this quote a lot. We get to decide if we want to be happy. Please choose to be happy with what you have. Many others may not have the luxury to have what you have. My mom shared a story with me that someone sent to her and my dad when I was born. This story really helped them accept the circumstances and helped them choose to have a positive attitude. I would like to share this story with you now. It is called Welcome to Holland by Emily Pearl Kingsley. Welcome to Holland. When you are going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks and make wonderful plans. The Colosseum, the Michelangelo David, the gondolas in Venice. You may learn some handy phrases in Italian. It's all very exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands. The stewardess comes in and says, "Welcome to Holland." "Holland," you say. "What do you mean, Holland? I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life I've dreamed of going to Italy." But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence, famine, and disease. It's just a different place. So you must go out and buy new guidebooks, and you must learn a whole new language. And you will meet a whole new group of people you would have never met. It's just a different place. It's slower paced than Italy, less flashy than Italy, but after you've been there for a while, and you catch your breath, you look around, and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills, and Holland has tulips. Holland even has Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and for the rest of your life you will say, "Yes, that's where I'm supposed to go. That's what I had planned." But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland. I hope you enjoyed that story as much as my family does. I hope that you will understand that just because things don't always go as planned, you can still look at your situation with a positive attitude. A positive attitude will lead to a happy life. If someone were to give me a half glass of water, I have a positive attitude and I will consider that the glass is half full instead of half empty. I encourage you to look at situations like that with a positive attitude. Every day I am faced with challenges and look at them with a good attitude, and I am always confident in myself that I can overcome them. For example, independent living skills such as zipping my coat, making sure that my clothes aren't inside out, or finding my classrooms by myself. These are all challenges. But I choose to be positive and overcome them. If I had a negative attitude, then I would get frustrated all the time. In conclusion, I hope you accept others with open arms and make some new friends. Accept people for who they really are and accept their differences. Remember, you may never know their situation until you take time to get to know them. I hope you accept yourself for who you are because you have many great talents. You need to be sure to recognize them. Be proud of yourself. You can always do great things when you set your mind to it. I hope you look at every situation with a positive attitude. Be happy with yourself and where you are in life. Remember, your situation could always be worse. Be sure to look at the bright side of things and look beyond limitations. Thank you for your time today and listening to my perspective. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you all for coming, and a special thanks to Val for making this happen. Before we start asking questions and everything, I would like to give a special thank you to my parents for all the opportunities and all their love and support they've given me. Thank you so much to my brother for all he does for me. Thank you to my grandparents for all the fun things they do with me. I love you all. I really encourage you to ask some questions. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Yes.
Did you do your homework from last week?
Oh.
Come on, Steve. Now, was that really necessary?
Yes.
I was just wondering, what kind of physical fitness activities do you do or sports? You're in great shape. Is it walking? Are you able to jog?
I sometimes go for a walk. Not a big fan of sports, but I like walking a little bit. I have a stationary bike. Use that a little bit.
Swimming?
Swimming, yeah. What else has a question?
Oh, there's someone in the back. She's got the other microphone.
You had mentioned, I think, that your parents or your family has a horseback riding facility. Do you ride sometimes?
I do ride. Yeah. So we got involved with starting up this program. It's horse riding program for kids with special needs. We are working with a friend of ours named Monty. He has a pasture with horses, and other people bring their horses too.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah.
What are the advantages to you to read Braille rather than listen to an audiobook?
I can probably picture it better when I read it by myself, rather than if it's an audiobook. I feel like it's kind of a little bit more boring. I don't know, and I don't always like the voices that read to me. Some of them are just kind of a little bit boring, monotone a little bit. I don't know. I think they should come up with some better, more human-like voices for audiobooks. They're too machine-like for me. Oh, do I find it an advantage of comprehension? Maybe a little bit, but it's more just how I can picture the scenes of the books.
Oh, there's a couple. Okay, Lauren.
My question is, when you started, Megan, when you started and opened talking about your condition, I felt that I was at a medical lecture. It was wonderful.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
Have you done research yourself on your
On my condition, before I started my speech, me and Mom did research together.
Well, it was wonderful. Thank you for sharing it. It was very educational.
Well, that's fine with me. No problem. Again, I love giving medical lectures. You know, I love telling all of you people who are supposed to know this stuff you don't know.
Megan, you talked a lot about looking forward to the future and being happy and content where you are, and helping us understand how important that is. I was wondering if you would be willing to share what excites you about the future.
I am looking forward to having children, of course, maybe. I'm looking forward to doing more speeches and doing more writing. I'm just looking forward to seeing what life brings toward me.
Thank you.
No problem.
Megan, I'm curious, when you get older, are you going to get a seeing eye dog?
Yes, I will. Most people get them after high school, and I will too, because if you get them after high school, you'll know more stuff about like how to take care of them. You'll be ready to be gone for 3 weeks in training.
Okay. Megan, I have a question submitted online, and just a reminder for those of you viewing via the video exchange, you can submit those to mergrst disability@mayo.edu. The question for Megan is, I know you're still a few years away, but what do you imagine yourself doing as an adult for a career?
I imagine myself being an author, maybe an inspirational speaker, and I have a backup plan if that doesn't work. And if that doesn't work out, I'm interested in psychology, so if there's any psychologists in here, I hope you're ready for an apprentice.
Any other questions for Megan?
Megan, your brother would like me to ask a question.
Come on, Spencer.
I know. So I said, what is your favorite thing to do with Spencer?
What is my favorite thing to do with Spencer?
What makes him a great brother?
Let's see. Everything, I guess. His helpfulness, I suppose. I love how much he's willing to help me.
Okay. Yep, we have another question.
Yes, Grandma?
Yesterday when we were talking, I got to thinking about something. I remember when you were a little girl, we went canoeing.
We did? Okay.
Yep.
I don't remember this.
Yep. And afterwards, you and I were sitting in a lawn chair together, and you asked me what my favorite color was. And I said blue, and you said purple. How do you know your colors?
I know it's my favorite color because it sounds amazing. And purple. Let's see. I just imagine if things were purple, then they'd be cool. I just kind of think purple. Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. And it's like, I don't really know what purple's supposed to be like, but I think it's always kind of interesting to think about. I obviously don't know what colors are, but I associate them with different things.
Like grapes or
Yeah,
lilacs or that.
like that, yeah.
Okay, and then I have a second question. One time you and your mom and I were at the Botanical Center in San Antonio, where I live, and you had some great ideas. So could you give me like 3 great ideas that you would have to make like shopping easier?
Okay, so first great idea I have is that these people at the store should perhaps make the layout of the store a little bit easier for blind people to navigate. I don't know. Perhaps make different signs indicating which aisle you're in Braille. That way you know where the heck you are, because if I were to walk into Walmart right now and try to go get a box of cereal, well, I don't know which aisle's which. Secondly, I don't know, packaging, like they should do different containers for flour and sugar. They feel practically identical to each other.
Thank you.
And third idea, I am not really sure, but let's see. Perhaps they should somehow find a way to put the Braille labels on the tags of the different outfits so you know what size you're getting.
Very good. When you get older, how do you expect to shop by yourself?
I don't. What I expect to get some help from customer service. Or, yeah, that too, but I really would rather get out and about. So like if I saw a friend at the store, we could like talk with each other and have fun.
Hi, Megan. This is Michelle, Grace's mom.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, you've done a great job today.
Thank you.
So my question for you is, you are starting high school here in a couple of weeks.
I am.
How do you get ready to not only start a new grade, but a whole new school with a whole new set of expectations? High school is scary for a sighted person to go into and to enter. How do you approach these different challenges?
For starters, in my 8th grade year, I walked through the high school about 6 different times with my O&M instructor. O&M stands for Orientation and Mobility. And other than that, though, I just go into the high school and then say, hi, everyone, I'm here to make some new friends and get ready. And that's all I do, because that's all you have to do. My mom's really nervous, and I'm like trying to tell her she doesn't have to be, because, you know, what's that going to do for us? Well, that's right, nothing, right? Okay.
All right, any more questions? Anything?
Come on, guys, I know you got more questions. Someone. Yes. So, I have one refresher Braille 18, because remember, I said that cost $1,500. So that's going to go back and forth. My Braille Edge, probably everything. I'll probably have one of everything for school and home. Okay. Except for my iPad. I'll have a school iPad and a home iPad.
Okay, well, Megan brought a Monopoly game that's Braille, and some of the tools that she uses, her books. So we'd like to give you some time to come up and look at that if you'd like. And I think, Megan, what an awesome hour we've all had listening to you and your advice for us all. As we get older, we forget some of those things that we should carry with us every day. So thank you, everyone, for coming.